I honestly love Millie Bobby Brown. I feel paternal toward her.
Today we're going to be talking about just how opposite dynamics can be, from the way they are on screen to how adorable the actor's friendship is. This time we're looking at the Stranger Things actor Mathew Modine and his care for Millie Bobby Brown. If you know him from the show, that's honestly kind of strange. But also, turns out Modine turned down a big role recently. So if you want to know more about that, keep watching. First up, working with a child prodigy. Come on, we're not saying anything wrong calling her that. Look at her debut in season 1 of Stranger Things, and anyone would agree. But now, actor Mathew Modine has revealed that he'd gone to great lengths to keep the incredibly talented actress from being destroyed by fame. We know the amount of papa comments we could make right now is insane. Still, the instinct to do that makes sense. Millie started out her career at the young age of 12 years old, cause she'd won the role of 11 in the hit original Netflix series. And though we'd all been on the edge of our seats watching as each episode dropped another bombshell in the plot, one thing was for sure: Brown had stolen the attention of everyone watching and delivered. So much so that her names were as easily said as her A-list Hollywood co-stars, like the amazing Winona Ryder. It sort of then makes sense that when Modine joined the show as Dr. Martin Brenner, the seasoned actor saw how bright of talent she was. Now, the Dark Knight Rises actor joined Jonathan Ross's talk show on Saturday night with Craig David, Catherine Ryan, O.T. Mabuse, Josh Jones, and indie darlings Wet Leg to talk about Millie's rise to stardom. Honestly, as he should. Because as more and more child actors have entered age-appropriate roles for better rep in Hollywood, it's important to know what freedom matters as their careers grow. So of course Modine's trying to help the kids. Next up, Modine understood the effects of childhood fame. Again, so many Papa references in our head, but moving swiftly on. When asked about working with Millie when she was so young and new to the industry, the 63-year-old said, "I wanted to be protective of her," cause he'd recalled how the business had changed since we last saw him in Birdy, and not always for the better. Still, success at that time would have been if a movie was popular in just 20 or 30 countries around the world. Now, that's the bare minimum if you've got a strong network supporting your project. So we can imagine the pressure he could sense Millie would have had to face if the show gained a lot of attention. Well, he wasn't off the mark on that one. Netflix is now ruling in over 190 countries worldwide. So Millie also had to face massive global hype. He commented that what she was exposed to and what all the other young stars on the show saw and felt was a level of fame, fan base, and status that's insanely unique in the showbiz. And good God, just hearing all of that stressed us out. So you can imagine actually being a part of it. In that place, any real support and friends would be vital. Modine, of course, knew that better than most, and then tried his best to make sure that these kids didn't face what he's seen other young stars go through when they're exposed to all that. Following that, is Millie destined to receive backlash? Well, short answer, yeah, of course, it's Hollywood. But more specifically, would sharing her opinions, however little, always lead her to some sort of fire, which Modine can't protect her from? As far as the actor's concerned, Modine stated that he just wanted Millie to be aware that her career would always have ups and downs. It's a roller coaster that she got to ride, but it was her choice whether she wanted to stay on or keep going through it all. And because her resume now includes hits like the Sherlock Holmes spin-off, Enola Holmes, and Godzilla King of Monsters, in addition to the ever-successful Stranger Things, her unique opinions have gotten some more eyebrow raises. Unfortunately, we guess that'd be the cost of the limelight. This had especially happened when she'd been 14 and posted a TikTok claiming she was a flat earther. Seriously, people? Still, probably because of that reaction, she'd clear the air with a Vanity Fair lie detector test that she no longer believed in the theory. But really, if she did, would you all say anything different if that wasn't true? The life of an actor, guys, it's not so shining crystals and never-ending rainbows. And that happened again recently when she expressed interest in playing Britney Spears in a biopic. Okay, look, we get that the comment is way too soon, but honestly, we'll let you decide if the internet's reaction was completely fair. Let's talk about how Modine was almost the Top Gun lead. That'd definitely have been a unique timeline, to say the least. But for those of you that somehow don't know, Top Gun is Tony Scott's action-packed masterpiece and is classed as one of the 1980s most defining moves, which more or less skyrocketed director Tony Scott and lead star Tom Cruise to new heights of success. Trust us, there's a reason many parents wanted to drag their kids to watch the new sequel. It was a moment in cinema history for the time. See, the film was a strange mix of fighter jet fights and shirtless beach volleyball scene, all coming together to tell the story of a student at the U.S. Navy's elite fighter weapons school who's trying for a spot on the squad with a bunch of equally focused young rivals. So you see, there were layers to this story that just worked. And what seemed to be the cherry on top? Well, Tom Cruise, of course. His spin when playing the role of Maverick made the character truly iconic to so many people, and made the actor known for his risky stunts. But now, it's a little shocking that this performance could have never been seen, because fellow Hollywood star Matthew Modine was asked for the role first. Now, we get it. It's difficult to imagine anyone starring as Maverick now, but even with his short list of minor roles in 1986, he'd been very close to bagging the pilot opportunity. Up next, why didn't Matthew accept the offer? We should honestly first look at one of his most popular films, which was Birdy, directed by Alan Parker in 1984. In it, Modine co-starred with Nicolas Cage and John Harkins, and it was based on William Wharton's novel of the same name. The film followed two friends who return home from the Vietnam War, but one becomes mentally unwell and obsessed with birds. So y'all see, even if he had a lot of minor roles, he landed them in notable films with a pretty decent cast. Then why, if Modine only starred in this before Top Gun, didn't he take the lead role in the next film? When asking him this question, his answer is actually really simple. He said he just didn't agree with the film's romanticism of the military in the Cold War. And that, you've got to at least respect him for sticking by his stance on what he can feel comfortable doing and what he can't. Maybe that's one of the things he'd try to remind Brown of while shooting Stranger Things. Also, when asked if he regretted passing up the opportunity to star in the iconic film, Modine replied, not at all, because what he understood about the film was now what it needed. Cruise, on the other hand, saw it as a film about the individual self and personal strength. So of course, the role should have gone to the actor that was better suited to embody that character. Lastly, his views on the politics of the movie. Trust us, he's got some solid reasons why the film didn't sit right with him. Modine went on about his view of the film's politics by revisiting a recent trip to East Berlin where he learned about World War II crimes. He said that the guide took him to a monument of sorts which was made for the millions of Russians that had died in the war, and cause he'd never really been taught Russia's involvement in the war. This, of course, hit him hard. Matthew said that meeting the Russian soldiers had reminded him of his brother, who'd served in Vietnam, so it had a big impact that he saw those soldiers and commented how they looked like Americans as well. They weren't monsters or evil, but humans fighting in the bigger picture. So, of course, staying true to his word, Modine went on to star in the anti-war Stanley Kubrick classic Full Metal Jacket instead, with R. Lee Ermey and Vincent D'Onofrio, which, if you didn't know, ended up being Oscar nominated. We guess the biggest takeaway then would be for us and Millie would be to stay true to what we believe in and see what happens next. That's a wrap on this video. Let us know what y'all think of Modine's early advice and guidance for Millie Bobby Brown. And do you think it was the right choice for him to back out of the first Top Gun? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.